This is the easy way that I roast a pumpkin. Well, last night I roasted it pretty late at night and I didn't want to deal with it, so put it in the fridge, and yeah, it has that brown roastiness at the bottom, but I didn't put oil in the bottom of a pumpkin roasting because it's not going to stick and we're not eating the skin. So if the skin did stick a little, it really wouldn't matter. And I love this because instead of having to deal with, cutting open the pumpkin, and it can be kind of hard, I like to play it safe. Yes, I always have. You just kind of pull the skin off, and then you can take it out, and the seeds, you can even roast them if you want. And especially if it's an organic pumpkin from my mom's garden, I just feel, oh my gosh, it makes better pumpkin pie. It just does. This one was a store-bought pumpkin, but it's a sugar pumpkin, so it's really super good. And when I puree it with a magic bullet, I think it tastes better than the canned stuff. That's just my opinion. And my sister said so as well the other day, so we were agreeing in our consensus on that. So I'll just keep pulling the skin off, and then I'll puree the meat portion, and there's seeds in the center that if I want to roast, I could. Thanks for watching. Okay, this was so fast. After I peeled the skin off my roasted pumpkin that had sat for a day, it almost seemed like with having it sit in that glass container for a day in the fridge, it just peeled so much easier. Oh my goodness. But it is a sugar pumpkin, a special pumpkin for making pumpkin pies. I pureed mine with a little bit of water because I wanted to make the pureeing job easy, because I used my little magic bullet here. If you have a power blender, that's great, but I love the magic bullet over the cheapo Galipo conventional blender that I have, because the magic bullet really does the job. I mean, I can only puree a little bit at a time, but I don't mind. And I like to puree it to the consistency of like baby food. That's what I like. You can puree it thicker and not add water, but the reason I add water is because I'm pureeing with the magic bullet, but I also like this consistency. And you're adding things to the pumpkin pie mixture, such as eggs and milk, or if you're making it vegan, you're going to add like an egg substitute and a milk substitute. So it's going to thicken up on its own, and you don't have to necessarily have a really thick pumpkin pie puree. But just look how beautiful this is. It's just the beautiful, vibrant orange. When it comes out of the can, it just does not look like that. This is why I think it tastes better. This was a store-bought sugar pumpkin, but I know with the organic pumpkins that I have waiting to go, oh my gosh, those will be so much better. I'm a little obsessed with pie. It's my favorite thing to make for the last couple of years, so I talk about it a lot. But anyway, don't be scared if you roast a pumpkin. I just roast it whole, and I cut slats in the pumpkin, so I don't have to cut it up when it's hard, which I think can be more tricky. And it's so easy, like after you've roasted it, like I literally didn't even have to really cut it at all. I just pulled the top off, and I pulled the skin out, and I used a spoon to scoop out all the meat. And then the seeds were just so easy, like with the sugar pumpkin pie, because those pumpkins are for pumpkin pie, like specifically. Like you could just buy one of those, buy a special pumpkin for making pumpkin pie, and they're individually sized to where one pumpkin will make, it will make a portion of a pumpkin pie, one pumpkin pie, and it's so easy. So you could just do that. So that's my tip on if you want to roast a pumpkin. Okay, this is a little bit of experimental fun. I made the regular pumpkin pie filling with the eggs and pumpkin, but I also added, after the sugar, I added a little less sugar, and then I added a package of hot chocolate. So this should be interesting to see how it turns out. Here is the chocolate peanut butter crumbly crust, and then the pumpkin filling on the inside had some cocoa powder added to it that has little marshmallows in it, and sugar and eggs and milk as usual. But it's kind of an experimental fun pie, and I'm going to call it the chocolate peanut butter pumpkin chocolatey pie. Just fun, different variation on how to do a pumpkin pie, you know. I did all the same usual ingredients, I just made more of a crumbly crust this time. And the dark colors are the chocolate that are in the crust, so it caramelized it a bit more as it baked.